and all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now today.
Yes, friends, and truly, this is the moment. This is Coach Raja of Victory Monster Academy, the Unbox Me Today show, and I am proud and so glad you're here today. I appreciate all of you. You guys ringing the victory bell for being here and being so amazing. And you know who else is amazing? My next guest. Let me introduce to you to the amazing Paul Sterling. He's a communication and intimacy coach for couples that still love each other but are having a hard time getting along and maybe even considering a divorce. Ooh, my system helps, or his system helps them to rebuild a foundation of trust and bring back desire, intimacy, and passion so that they remember why they fell in love in the first place. After many attempts at couples work with other individuals, um, you know, Paul has finally helped his clients and break through to a new place of understanding and appreciation for one another. So, without any further delay, let's welcome the super talented, super handsome Mr. Paul Sterling, the one who walked to school uphill both ways in the snow, barefoot, the one and only Paul Sterling.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Paul. How you feeling today?
I am excited to be here, and I love the message you bring out to the world. It makes a big difference.
Thank you so much,
thank
Paul.
you for this invitation, and thank you everybody for listening today.
Yes, and everybody who is listening, you want to be even more part of the show? Click the link below so you can make sure that you can leave comments on the live as well. So let's just dive right in. So Paul, fascinating topic and also very important today, especially because with everybody's dependence on instant communication and high tech and social media, and we're losing connection with real people, I think, truly. So my first question is like, how'd you go? Now this is really cool. You were a commercial fishing boat captain, um, and you know you got to wear a like a a a like a Bubba Gump shrimp captain boat hat or something because that's just cool. So how'd you go from being a commercial fishing boat captain in Alaska to becoming a best-selling author and a relationship coach? How'd that happen?
Well, I should have one of the books in front of me that made the difference. I was in
Yeah.
Alaska, and
Uh-huh.
I ended up Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad,
Oh yeah.
came to Alaska, did a workshop in Anchorage, and a friend of
Yeah.
mine said, "You got to come to this." And I'm like,
Yep.
I don't do personal growth. I don't, I'm a commercial fisherman, but I went and ended up becoming, I don't know if I'll say friends, but I got to know Robert pretty well, and he referred me to Tony Robbins.
No
And
way. That's
I
awesome.
flew to Seattle, took a course from Tony, and it changed my life. It like totally
Oh, certainly.
altered
Yep.
my life.
Mm-hmm.
Along with a couple other things, I don't think I've told you this, but I had an older brother that I really admired, who I thought had it all together, who ended up
Right.
committing suicide.
Oh no.
And
Yeah. It's heartbreaking.
between that and the work I was doing with Tony Robbins, it's like I wanted to know why people do what they do when it looks like you're
Yeah.
really successful on the outside, and then you have all this pain on the inside. So that got me on a totally different path. And it wasn't a straight line, but I studied with Tony Robbins. I was part of his volunteer team at first, and then I was paid by him. And then at one point, Tony hired me to come in and teach his inner circle. And I
I
knew
love
that
it.
that was my life had changed when Tony Robbins was introducing me after so many times of me introducing him.
Fantastic. And so, I mean, you already touched upon this, but what other mentors did you have that came along the way? Obviously, Robert Kiyosaki, you got Tony Robbins. Anybody else that helped inspire you along the way?
Marshall Thurber, who was one of Robert's teachers, he
Really?
studied with
Okay.
Dr. Deming and Buckminster Fuller, and so
Oh,
I
I remember
became
him. Yeah.
his apprentice. And I literally traveled around the world studying with Marshall Thurber. We ended up becoming partners, but working with companies like the Sheraton Hotel, the city of Albuquerque, the Alaskan Native Association.
Mhm.
And what I didn't realize is I was learning what I'm going to talk about a little bit today, but when they bring in a consultant from the outside, what they're wanting you to do is solve problems they can't solve themselves.
Yep.
And I ended
Mhm.
up becoming a relationship coach, helping couples solve problems they can't solve themselves. And
Right.
I think I've told you I wrote a selling book, Argue Less, Love More.
Oh,
I
I love
have a
that.
video on intimacy that's been seen 6.9 million times. So Marshall Thurber was a big influence. Byron Katie was another one, a guy named Marshall. I had several Marshalls. I had 3 Marshalls that were my mentors, which is an odd thing. But
Yeah.
Marshall Rosenberg, who was the creator of nonviolent communication, and I have his book, it's
Right.
never far away. And you can tell it's like well
Oh,
used,
wow.
well studied.
What is that? Well, what is
I
that book
got
that you
to
just
try
said? Marshall
Marshall
Thurber?
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg. Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
Thurber, who was Robert Kiyosaki, one of Robert Kiyosaki's
Yeah.
mentors,
Mhm.
and Marshall Rosenberg, the creator of nonviolent communication, and this is his
Oh,
book.
nonviolent communication. Oh, that's a cool. Okay. That's what I was looking for.
And
Nice.
yeah, I got to spend almost a month with him in Sweden at one point, and it made a huge difference in my life.
Mhm.
It's like if you look at it, have you ever put together a jigsaw puzzle? Let me just ask you a
Certainly.
question here.
Yeah.
What's the most important part of the jigsaw puzzle?
Start at the corners. Find the frame.
Corners are a good thing. Frame is a
Mhm.
good thing. I'm gonna say that it's the picture of the puzzle.
Oh, yeah. Obviously. Yeah. That comes
Once you
first.
get the picture, you know where the pieces fit. I
Yep.
had never known where the pieces of communication fit until I
Yeah.
studied nonviolent communication, the observations, feelings, needs, requests. I had got to see how things fit together and the difference it made. I went on and for 8.5 years, I volunteered and taught it in prison. I
Nice.
taught it
Nice.
to the same time I was teaching it at the jail in Golden
Mhm.
to minimum to maximum security inmates. I was teaching the same thing at Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado to the professors and staff.
Gotcha. Yeah. I love it.
So,
Cool. So, so along this way, you tell me about these amazing people that you're meeting, and you get a chance to work in Tony Robbins' team. You get to fly around the world. What What were some of the? We all make mistakes along the way. I always talk about my mistakes, and I always say them like they're not failures; they are learning situations. So you either win something or you learn something. So what are some of the humbling mistakes maybe that you learned along the way that helped you grow?
well, some people say I never make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
That is BS to me. I made the mistake so many times. I wrote the book. This book right here is really
Yeah.
my love story to myself because I made the communication mistakes so many times. And I was great at problem solving in businesses. Like
Yeah.
I've saved companies $500,000 with one change. Um,
Yep.
um,
Hmm.
and what I didn't do well was I didn't apply it in my own relationships that well. I went through a divorce and then several broken engagements because I didn't know how to take what I was teaching corporations and turn it
Right.
and teach couples. And that
Gotcha.
was one point was a change from my trajectory from
Hmm.
working in the business world to working with couples because you teach what you need to learn and I needed to learn how to be better in
Oh, absolutely.
relationships.
And
Yeah,
something I learned through the martial arts. Same thing is that once you teach it, you actually learn it more. So if you really want to learn something, learn to teach it because that's when you really understand it. And so let's move on to the next question. I always love this. Like, what are some success stories maybe that you can share with us? Do you have an example of one that kind of sticks out, like without sharing anybody's names? Keep everything private. But
Okay, well, I actually have permission to share. I won't share their last name,
okay,
but one couple I
sure.
worked with, they came to me. They were actually referred to me because they went through somebody else's coaching and counseling and
Yeah,
therapy. And this is a smart, beautiful couple. They're in business together. She
yeah,
started a women's clothing line that a lot of women know about. And when she came to me, she said they were fighting like cats and dogs, and they loved each other. And it was like, you look at the typical things that create upsets:
yep.
lying, affairs, cheating, betrayals, all that stuff. None of that. They had done none of that. But the way they were communicating, they got caught in the communication trap. That's the communication trap, is where the more you talk about it, the worse it gets, and being quiet
Yep.
doesn't help.
Yep. Yep. I've seen that before too. Yep. And
So I gave them a different way of communicating, and I taught them something. There's like one skill. I don't know if you saw City Slickers. It was a movie. It was a comedy years
I
ago.
remember that a long time ago. Um,
Yep.
but I forget what the movie's about. I just remember them trying to find gold or silver, something like that. There
Well,
was some sort of a buried treasure. Yeah.
yeah, they were out. They were. I forget the comedian's name. I should remember it. Someone will remember it. They'll put it in the
Um,
slides. But they were told there's one thing. You just need one thing. And what I realized when I've studied with relationships, and I'll go back to the example, there's one
mhm.
thing, and people can say whatever that they think the one thing is. But the one thing I realized that made relationships last longer and more
Yep.
successful, it's the sexy thing I teach, and the most important, it is problem solving.
Uh-huh.
Because
Yep. Mhm.
relationships, for the whole length of the
I
relationship,
love that.
even if you get along great, you still have problems to solve. Whether it's children, what school do
Yep.
they go to? How do they deal with it? With obedience, if there's challenges, then healthcare and college, and it's like it's perpetual problems. If you deal with problems well, it will transform your relationship. If you don't, there will be challenges. So I taught them
Oh, I can
about
only
how to
imagine.
communicate
Yep.
and how to
I
solve
get it.
problems. And they went from
100%.
getting along like cats and dogs to inviting me to help facilitate their wedding. And it was one of the most amazing weddings. They rented
Oh, it's beautiful.
a hot springs in Arizona. So we
Nice,
had
nice.
it was a weekend wedding where we had dinners together and breakfasts together, and we were at the hot springs, and it was heart moving. And she said in one of her testimonial videos I have, it's like, he says the only reason they're married today is because of the
Yeah.
tools and the skills they learned. And that was one example of many ones where they come and they
Yep.
get better tools,
Got
because
it. I love it.
most
Love it. Mhm.
most couples go to therapy or counseling or coaching thinking they're going to try to who to blame. We're going to figure out who to blame versus what problem to fix.
Yeah, it's really in the end, it's almost not important who you blame. It's more about like how what are you gonna do moving forward. You know, I just feel like so Paul, great stuff. For those that are watching on the live, you thrive, and on the replay, you get to play again. Give us some likes, give us some hearts, so that we know that you're gaining some impact. And Paul here has a gift for you as well. So Paul, please take a look on his link down below. You have a Google form there. What are they going to get when they click that link, Paul?
Well, they're going to get some distinctions they probably don't have. One of the
Yeah.
things is a problem clearly stated is a problem half solved. I forget whose quote that is, but I love
I
it.
like that. Mm-hmm.
And
Love to find out who that is.
what happens in relationships is we actually have three sets of relationships. We have a friendship, a partnership, and a lovership. In the friendship, we have certain needs that need to get met. Like, think about your closest friends. The way why they stay your friends is because your needs get met in that area. As far as a partnership goes, if you're
Yeah.
in the business of life, you may not
Yeah.
be in your actual business together, but you're
Uh-huh.
in the business of life, paying bills, having a house, raising the kids. And how do
Sure.
you make decisions? So understanding where that partnership is critical. And the first
Right.
one that tends to go, because I work with couples that have been together for weeks and months to couples that have been together 30 and 40 years.
Right.
And the one that
Mhm.
disappears quickest is the lovership. Intimacy
Right.
disappears, they become reluctant roommates. So what I did is I put together a survey that has questions about your friendship, your partnership, your lovership. And it's important to know what the problem is, because here's another quote for you.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship coaching, therapy, counseling fails is
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't agree on the problem, you won't agree on the solution. If you don't agree on the problem, you won't agree on the solution. I'm going to say that one last time. If you don't
Okay.
agree on the problem, you won't agree on the solution. And most people are trying to figure out who is the problem rather than what is the problem.
Right. Hey, so you were cutting out for a little bit. You said friendship, mind shift, and lovership. Sorry.
Friendship, partnership,
Oh,
and
partnership.
lovership.
Okay. That's it. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Excellent.
And
So,
this is a survey that they can take, and it's a Google Doc. They fill out the survey, and each of them take it individually, or you can take it by yourself. But answer, and it will help you get clear on what's going on in the relationship and how important it is right now. Are you
right.
in the critical zone, or are you in the happy zone?
Got it. Got it. That's great. That's great. So, fantastic, folks. So, listen, click on his link down below. Make sure you grab that and find out for yourself where are you in your relationship, your partnership, or your lovership. So, Paul, we're gonna move to a next segment, and this is what I call the speed round. Fast and Furious here. We want to get to know you as a person because people don't join a business; they join a person, right? So, tell me a little bit about where did you grow up and how did you grow up?
I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in
Woo, the best coach.
I grew up actually on it was ended up being in an artist community. And so
Really?
I had neighbors that
Excellent.
were actually famous artists,
Yeah.
musicians, um, potters, writers, filmmakers. Uh,
Mhm.
our house happened to be, my parents were a mix of very open-hearted. My dad ended up being an alcoholic and angry some of the
Right.
time. So he was a mix
Mhm.
of those two things. But we had pet raccoons and possums and woodchucks and squirrels. So
Right. Mhm.
we were the family where strays went to. We had kids that would live with us for months at a time. And so I learned a lot about compassion there. I also learned there were things I learned from my dad where he said the best defense is a strong offense. And
Right.
so I learned
Mhm.
you had to
Right.
protect yourself. The problem is protect yourself against your own family. And the
Sometimes
other
I don't
thing,
know. Hey.
yeah,
Mhm.
you do
Yeah.
sometimes.
All right.
And
What
he,
about growing up? Was there a favorite movie or a favorite book that helped kind of inspire the way you think today?
ah, it took, it wasn't until started doing personal growth after Tony Robbins that I got
Yeah.
into, the book. I mean, I do remember one book that really struck me was My Side of the Mountain because I wanted to retreat. It's about this kid who goes off into the wild and lives by himself with the animals because that's where I thought it was safe. Because the other thing my dad said is, you want something to cry about, I'll give you something to cry about. And I go,
Mm.
no, I'm set. My older brother, already got that handled. So
Right.
I had to learn how to
Yeah.
defend myself compassionately. And
Got
I
it.
left
What
home at
about
17.
what about favorite kind of music? What kind of jams you up?
Um, we were actually we were kind of eclectic because our parents,
Yeah.
we were around musicians, so we had everywhere from pro musica that was next door neighbors that
Mhm.
would sing opera and stuff like that to Odetta to Pete Seeger and Peter
Mhm.
Paul and Mary, the Rolling Stones and the Beatles,
Yeah.
um, and a lot
I actually
Irish, the
sing.
Clancy brothers.
Yeah. I think there's a song we're singing in our choir. originally by Peter from Peter Palmieri, and I forget which one it is. I'll have to think about it. But we were talking about like in the men's section, say like, oh, that's the Peter from Peter Palmieri. I said, really? So good to know. The what about we're going to have to shift gears here shortly. So before we head out, what about what's your favorite kind of food? I always find this is a really fun question.
Well, I like Thai food. I like Indian food.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, those would probably be two of my favorites. And I've
Oh,
dabbled in
perfect.
vegetarian, and I was a commercial fisherman in Alaska for 18 years, so I definitely love, especially not farm salmon, but salmon from the
Yeah.
ocean.
Oh, the fresh Atlantic salmon. Yeah, the real stuff. Yeah. Uh, by the way, I got on the phone over here. Hello, hello. Yeah, hello. Thai Palace, and this is like a new deli restaurant. Yeah, we need a palette of your best food in the green room stat. All right, so totally real call to take care of you there. Okay, especially as my VIP guest. So Paul, before we shift gears, just one last thing. Just what do you want people to recall about you?
Huh, that's a surprise question. I think that I made a difference,
Yes,
that I
beautiful.
cared, that I think that especially now with what's going on the planet, that I help protect people and creatures that couldn't protect themselves.
Oh, I love that. Beautifully said. You get a victory bell for that. Beautiful. All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to shift gears to our next segment. Paul, you're in the green room. You got a whole ton of food with you. Hopefully, you saved me some. While Paul is chowing down, I'm going to shift gears over here because in life, not only do you want to make a change, you want to make impact. You got to find a way first to make a splash. When you throw a rock into a lake, what happens? No, there's a splash. You make an impact, and then you get waves. And then you don't know where those waves are going. Those waves are going past around the reeds, and you don't know where that impact is. So all of you out there, when you're on stage, you don't know where your impact is going to end. It's never going to end. All right, folks. So, what Paul was talking about earlier about imagining this young child that wanted to leave home, go on the other side of the mountain, and try to find a new life. And sometimes I think we all feel that way, that we want to get something new, something better. But what we don't realize is sometimes that what we think is the greener side of the grass is not something. It's not something better, not something enhanced. It might be just something a little bit different. And then we realize what we actually had was already pretty good. See, how many of you have been out there saying like, "Oh, I think I can do more. I think I can do better." Yes, you can. But what are you giving up? What are you compromising or sacrificing to try to go forward in that movement instead of appreciating what we already have? So this 60-second mind shift today stems back to the idea about, a lot of things in life happen to us, but maybe they don't happen to us, they happen for us. And that's what shapes our journey going forward. Think about that. Viktor Frankl, in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he has a great quote in there, which I love to always talk about. It's, you have zero control over what happens to you in life, but you have 100% control over your perception of what happened to you, right? So as we go through life, make sure that you think about life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. There is no failure. You either win something or you learn something. And just like Viktor Frankl said, you have 100% control over your perception of what happened to you. So let's bring Paul back, find out whether he ate all the food, and he saved me any. Welcome back, Paul. So how was the food? Did you save me any?
I saved you a little bit of the.
Oh, good. You'll be the first one. All right, Paul. What did you think about that? What's your big takeaway from that 60-second mind shift, and what would you add to it?
Well, I love that you even do it, because part of the thing I talk about with couples is that there's three things we have. We have a mind shift, a mindset, a heart set, and a skill set. And it's those three things combined. And
Got it.
I really like. I call it your ROS, your relationship operating system. That the mindset is
Oh, I
our
like that.
operating system. And until we become aware of it, it runs us and we don't run it. It's like on my cell phone, they go, do you want to update your software? And I'm going, yes or no, but I don't know how to update my software except for hit the button. And
It's true.
what you do is help people update their software that's running the show.
Yeah. And really what it is, think about this. You are programmed through life. You're programmed from birth, from your upbringing, from your finances, from where you live, your friendships you make, the co-workers you spend time with, later on in your college years, and where you work and how you commute. You take the train or you take the bus. It changes how you view the world and what it shapes you in. So, so Paul, fascinating. Everybody else that's on the live, please leave some comments down below what you think and what is your biggest takeaway. And if you have any questions for us. So Paul, already been a great show already. Tell us one more thing before we head off here. If someone gave you a blank check, what would be your grand vision to change the world? And while I'm doing that as well, I'm going to share his gift link down below as well. Make sure you click on that. So Paul, blank check, what is your grand vision to change the world?
Well, I was once asked to do a talk about the students today, and they started with the presupposition that the students today are worse disciplined than the kids in the past. And I said, I'll do the talk, but I'll come to my own conclusion.
Yeah.
And what I blank check is I would transform the education system, because what I realize is the problems that we face today, or that our kids have today, we haven't solved. So we can't teach them how to solve a problem we haven't solved. We have to teach them to think in a way we haven't thought.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Oh, I love that. Beautifully said. All right, Paul, we are nearing the end of our time here. I want to make sure that everybody else on the live gets to comment. Anybody else, if you have any other comments or questions, please post down below. There's the gift link. Everybody else, I got to say, like, Paul's been a fascinating person. His lots of connections. Please do connect with him. If he aligns with your values, please do. And as always, just pay it forward. Make sure you connect with people. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And this is Coach Roger. As always, don't fake it till you make it. Instead, believe it and become it. And we will see everybody on the next show. Bye-bye. All right, Paul. 3 quick questions, and we're out of here. Number 1, what was your reasoning for wanting to be on the show today?
I always figured that I'm talking to my past self. These are the skills I wish I had
like that.
a long time
Talking
ago.
to your past self. Pretty cool.
So if I could like save somebody from some of the pains and the mistakes that I made,
Indeed.
that would be awesome.
That'd be great.
To reach.
And second question, what was your biggest takeaway from the show today?
Well, I like it that in a lot of ways we're on similar journeys. We have a slightly different way of talking about it, but even the book you talked about, Man's Search for Meaning, there was someone who knew how to manage their mindset in the most horrific place in the world.
Yeah, worst things, right?
And manage his mindset.
And that turned me into, this is coming out next for me. Unbox Me Today. This is my next book. And man, it's amazing how much your journey changes over the years. So last question for you, totally unbiased. How much would you like to recommend me to somebody else's stage?
I would love to recommend you to someone else's stage, and I'd love to recommend people to come and be interviewed by you. I think that you're one of the shining lights out there that makes a difference. It's like when you look at the
thank
earth,
you so much. Yeah.
You look at the earth from rotating around a satellite or whatever.
Gotcha.
Rocket ship.
All right.
Look down and you can see bright lights. You're one of the bright
Thank you, brother.
lights.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. Podcast code knows what to do, and we are off.